Welcome to the deep dive. For those of us who love exploring, finding those spots with a real story, getting those aha moments without getting totally bogged down. That's the goal.
Exactly. And today, we're zoning in on a place just like that.
Yeah, we're heading up Minnesota's North Shore Scenic Drive, specifically the Silver Creek Cliff Overlook.
It's a fantastic spot, about 4 miles north of Two Harbors, right on Highway 61. Easy to find.
But it's more than just a pretty view, isn't it? That's what we're diving into. This place has layers.
It really does. It's not just, a quick pull-off. There's history, some serious engineering, and yeah, those amazing views. So our mission today, give you the rundown of the history, what to see, some cool facts if you're thinking of visiting.
Okay, let's get into it. So you pull up, maybe you see the tunnel, the viewpoint.
Yeah.
It feels, well, modern in a way. But the story starts way back.
Way back. We're talking about the original North Shore Scenic Highway. This spot was part of it when it was first built back in 1924.
1924. Wow. And I gather that original road was different.
Oh, completely different. Picture this. Not the wide highway you see today, but a narrow 2-lane road literally clinging to the side of the cliff.
Whoa.
Yeah, Lake Superior right there, a sheer drop just past this pretty basic stone barrier. Not exactly today's guardrails.
Sounds incredibly traumatic, almost like white-knuckle driving for those early folks.
Definitely. And our sources mention the constant problem of rocks, tumbling down onto the road.
Yeah.
Plus, the road itself was steep, curvy, narrow, just really tough to maintain safely. It sounds amazing, but maybe not the most relaxing drive.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially back then. So clearly something had to change.
Exactly. And that leads us to a pretty huge undertaking by MNDOT, the Minnesota Department of Transportation.
The tunnel.
The Silver Creek Cliff Tunnel. It's 1,344 feet long, and it opened up in 1994. This basically solved all those safety and maintenance headaches in one go.
That tunnel itself is impressive. 3 years to build. And then to blast out, what was it, 500,000 cubic yards of rock?
Something like that, yeah. 500,000 cubic yards. It's hard to even picture that volume of rock.
Really is. And what's interesting is that people kept using the old cliff road while all this massive construction was happening nearby.
Well, sort of. The actual bypass of that original alignment as part of US 61 happened a bit earlier, in 1990. They knew the tunnel was coming.
Okay.
But here's the really neat part, especially for anyone who likes, connecting with history.
They didn't just abandon it.
No, they repurposed that old roadbed, turned it into a multi-use trail.
Wow.
It's now actually part of the Gitchi-Gami State Trail.
That's fantastic. So you preserve the history and the view. Really smart thinking.
It really was. The original historic bit of road is about maybe 0.35 miles, and the whole trail section there is just over half a mile.
Yeah.
And they did a nice job making it accessible. It's paved, good for walking, biking, taking your time. And crucially, there's easy parking. Northbound side of 61, just past the tunnel, that's the main public spot.
Makes it super easy to stop. And they've added things to give you that sense of the past too, right? Like replicas.
Yeah. They put in a replica of an old gateway sign that used to be there, welcoming drivers to the cliff road, and replica wooden guardrail posts too, little touches that connect you back.
That's cool. It helps you visualize what it was like.
Definitely. And there's more learning too. Up at the high point of the old road, they've installed interpretive markers.
Explaining the geology and stuff.
Exactly. Geology, the history of the road, why the tunnel was built. It adds another layer beyond just the, gorgeous scenery.
So today, instead of just maybe catching a glimpse from your car window as you drive through the tunnel or whatever.
Right, instead of whizzing by.
You can actually walk or bike right on that old path safely and just soak it all in. Those huge Lake Superior views.
Yeah, our sources mentioned something like a 4,000-foot vista from that stretch of the Gitchi-Gami Trail there. It's pretty expansive.
4,000 feet. Wow. It must be a totally different feeling than driving it.
Completely. You can stop, look around, really feel the scale of the lake and the cliffs. And for the real history buffs, you can still walk on the original pavement.
Oh, yeah.
If you park on the east side of the tunnel, there's access to that preserved section of the old Highway 61.
That's a great tip, actually stepping onto the historic road.
Exactly. And, we saw this comment online, someone on Reddit remembering driving that original road as a kid.
Oh, really? What did they say?
Just how narrow, dangerous, and nerve-wracking it felt, especially in winter. It really highlights the change.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes you appreciate the modern setup, but also appreciate that they saved the old bit.
And apparently, this specific preserve section at Silver Creek Cliff It might be the only historic alignment of old US 61 that's been actively kept and presented like this for the public.
Huh. That makes it pretty special then. Unique, really.
Very unique in that sense.
And it's good to remember, this is just one point along that whole incredible North Shore Scenic Drive.
Absolutely. That whole 154-mile stretch from Duluth up to the Canadian border, it's just packed with stuff.
Yeah, Trunk Highway 61. Famous for a reason.
Right. You've got the cliffs, the beaches, Lake Superior, always there. Then inland, the Sawtooth Mountains, forests, waterfalls, lighthouses. It's one of Minnesota's gems.
Definitely. So, wrapping up on Silver Creek Cliff Overlook, it sounds like a must-do stop if you're up there.
I'd say so. You get that mix, incredible views, a really interesting piece of Minnesota highway history, that impressive tunnel engineering, all in one spot.
And you get to walk a piece of the past safely, looking out at that timeless lake view. It connects the docks really nicely.
Yeah, the story of the old road, the solution of the tunnel, that all comes together there. And like we said, it's right off the highway, easy access.
Super convenient. Perfect for stretching your legs and getting a dose of history and beauty.
It really is a great example of, appreciating how things were built, how things change, while still enjoying the landscape.
So yeah, if you're planning that North Shore trip, definitely pencil in Silver Creek Cliff Overlook. History, engineering, amazing views. Checks all the boxes.
Agreed. And maybe, as a final thought, when you're standing there on that old roadbed, just take a second. Imagine steering a car along that narrow edge back in the 30s or 40s. Makes you wonder, what other hidden stories are tucked away along that scenic drive, just waiting to be discovered?
Good question. Something to keep in mind for the next adventure. Thanks for diving deep with us today.